All right, guys. Good morning, good evening, good night. You already know what it is. Layer1Live. You guys are getting impatient in the chat, so we had to press the go live button. So this is we're just gonna do it live, like we should. What's going on, Dimitri?
Yeah, man, not much. Beautiful Monday. It's getting a little chilly here in Pittsburgh. I like it. So uh, things are moving along. But yeah, we have a packed episode, obviously. So much stuff has happened last week. It's crazy, right? There's so much like news that we're just kind of getting out, by the hour, right? And, that's why we're here to kind of break it down and see how the market is taking it and where we go from here.
Yeah, up until right before the episode, we weren't even gonna put the fact that Andre had that project that he was working on that got rug pulled because that feels like it was 10 years ago. I feel like I say that all the time. Either it's an interview episode or on Layer1Live, NFT Live. It just feels like things that happened even 7 days ago don't even register.
Yep.
It's that crazy. But it is calming down a little bit, and we'll touch on some stuff today. Guys, lads are in the chat. Let me give a quick shout out. We got DJ. We got Loadmaster. We got Shun in the chat. Brandon's in the chat. Phasia's in the chat. Michael Cat is in the house. Catsby. And then we got Mike Scott, the Among Us master here. And then P-Knuckles getting a little antsy here. So good morning to you guys. Good Monday to you guys. Hopefully you're having a good week. Hopefully we can get after it this week in the lads community as well. So what are you most excited about, man, this week?
Yeah, man. So, we had the game night. That was fun. We played some Among Us with the lads on Thursday. Had a good time, chasing down Q and chopping him up and then ejecting him from the spaceship, basically. So that was fun. Obviously, I'm excited for the desk. There's going to be a lot of things that we're going to cover in terms of like price action and stuff that's going on with the exchanges that we're going to cover today on this episode as well. There's lots of things that are going on there. I think a lot of people are asking questions, in regards to centralized exchanges, decentralized exchanges that are seeing lots of growth. So I'm excited to kind of break that down for everyone, and so we can share our opinions on where things that might be going in the industry.
Yeah, it's good to see you guys showing up. It looks like Ads Can too is in the chat as well. So appreciate you guys hopping in early today. I guess it's early for us, but it's not early for a lot of you. Some might be super late. So guys, I'm gonna break down the episode real quick. But like Dimitri said, a ton of it's gonna revolve around what happened with BitMex and kind of the pullback we've seen here in DeFi over the past, I'd say, week and a half now, and kind of the macro markets as well. Obviously, the thumbnail has that blue Kirby. It has my man himself, BitMex founder. So we'll touch on everything BitMex. We'll touch on the Wax token model as well. But let me get to some of these stats real quick, guys. We have top 5 countries: U.S., U.K., Australia, Canada, Spain. So shout out to our Spaniards that have been listening to us. Top 3 episodes is going to be Yatsui, that episode with AtomicHub Brands. Awesome episode. If you want to know about NFTs, that's the spot you want to hit. Don't Buy Meme, and then that DeFi mega episode still pulling in the views, Dimitri.
Hell
All right.
yeah.
All right, so we've got this portion of the episode has slowly gotten bigger, and we do have to kind of break down the schedule this week. That's kind of rolling across your screen momentarily, but we have Tuesday, Dimitri's desk. Mondays are always going to be exclusive, Layer1Lives, but Tuesday is going to be Dimitri's desk. We've got Audius and Cooper Turley. Cooper's an awesome guy within the NFT, within the DeFi space. That'll be a good episode. We touched on social tokens as well. Obviously, that's pertinent information. We have a LADS token AMA, guys. So we've had a lot of questions over the past week as people have joined the channel. And we're going to take that time to kind of break down the LADS vision and the community vision, the token vision, the roadmap for October. We're going to take that time. Likely what we'll do is have it stream live to YouTube, but it won't live on afterwards. So that'll be the place that we all kind of congregate. We'll have some LADs that are in the Citadel as well. Thursday is going to be NFT Live, and then we're going to do game night. We don't know if it's going to be Among Us or what this week, but we're going to give you guys TBD on that. And then Friday we have the Stellar Foundation and Dimitri's desk there. So that's kind of the whole thing for the week. I don't know, Dimitri, did I miss anything, man?
No, that sounds good. Yeah, that's a pretty good agenda. So I'm excited for this week. Been trying to introduce new things, like the game night, to kind of bring the community together so we can have fun, and kind of get to know each other a little bit more on a different level. So we'll continue to expand that. And obviously, if you guys have any ideas on how we can spend some time together, interacting, definitely drop them in our chat. We'll explore those ideas as well.
Yeah, it looks like Ronan and Buffalo are in the house. So we've got pretty much the entire Layer 1 team in the house. We've got all the lads. Janny's catching us for the first time. So what's going on, Janny? This is going to be Layer1Live. We're breaking down the crypto markets this week. A lot is happening in the traditional finance space too, and I think a lot of some macro stuff. We don't want to even say the word Trump because we don't want to get banned from YouTube.
You just said two words, Trump and banned.
The trifecta would be COVID. It looks like Kieran's in the chat. So, guys, we're going to touch on kind of the macro traditional finance stuff that's going on as well. As Lads has grown, and oh my God, it's grown so much over the past month. We've realized that it's grown so quickly that it's outpaced the amount of information that we have to get to you guys. So we're going to make sure that we're getting you all the information this week as far as the Lads token and Lads AMA is concerned. So it looks like Kieran saying we're GG banned. Pinnacle saying RIP. So we're going to try to survive this one. Dimitri's desk has been back, so we're trying to survive everything. But guys, as you know, because you're here today and you're contributing in our chat channel, you're going to be airdropped some Lads. We've got some big Lads token holders, man. But let me get one thing before we get started here with the news and this breaking information I'm giving you. Lad of the week. Do you know who it is?
Me?
Yeah.
Lad of the week. You know what?
Do you have your own Lad of the week? What's going on?
If I had to guess, I would say Ari.
Yeah, Ari is going to be our Lad of the week this week. So shout out. You're gonna get some extra Lads there for being the Lad of the week. So Brandon put this together for us, but we kind of are on the same wavelength. Obviously, him being our community manager. So Ari submitted some great bounty submissions. I believe he had a token art bounty as well as just engaging and sharing information. So we did have that September bounty event, guys. Let me see if I can pull that up on the screen, which we asked from the community if token art design, website design, as well as meme designs. We had some memes come in, but we're going to leave it open for a little bit longer. Obviously, if you submit any memes, you're going to be able to get that airdrop of Lads, as we said. I've got the article pulled up here. I don't know. Let's see. Obviously, you can't pull it up, but I would have liked to see some of these memes. Anyways, we got the Lads token art. We had some submissions, mostly around what are going to be known as badges going forward. We didn't have any that we want to use specifically for the Layer 1 token, so that's going to be open for a little bit longer. We did have some. I believe we had 3 Lads reach out to us about website design, and then we had a bunch of Lads community members post memes in the Telegram. There were some really good ones. I like the one where the guy was getting smacked.
Yeah,
you missed another one.
Yeah, that was my favorite one. But yeah, guys, I mean, come on, where are all the artists? Where are all the fire memes? I'm about to actually drop memes myself to get the community going here.
Yeah, that's 100% what we're doing right after the episode.
Yep, exactly. Full force.
This is what we spend. This is full-time job here. So anyways, guys, it has been a great past week. Again, like Dimitri said, we did that game night, but we got a lot more updates coming. Expect more regular updates. Like I said, the community's been growing so rapidly that's almost hard to keep up, but we do want to keep you guys updated. Shout out to Ronan, Brandon, and Buffalo, who've been killing it on the production side as well, and the community growth and all that stuff. So it looks like Kat's getting ready to do some memes and put them in. Guys, we're at 31 today. We're at 31 in the chat. So what we're going to do here, obviously, if you guys know, if we hit all-time high, which I believe, do you know the number? I'm quizzing you today, bro.
52. Yeah, man. Whoa.
52. 52 is the all-time high. If we reach that number, so if we go over it, obviously, if we hit 53, we are definitely... Is that Ryan Dennis?
Oh, I don't know.
Is that Ryan Dennis in the chat?
Is that the real Ryan Dennis?
Well, the real Ryan Dennis.
Please stand up.
So if we hit 53, we are going to be airdropping extra Lads to the guys who are participating today. Huawei's in the chat. He contributed a bunch last time, but he didn't set up a roll wallet. Get into the Telegram. It's right in the description. Get into the Lads community channel and set up your roll wallet so you can start earning these beautiful Lads, man. A lot of updates that we've been kind of shilling for a little bit are coming this October.
Yeah, get rolling, man. I wanted to also give a quick update for Dimitri's desk. So, guys, as you know, we have Discord, right? And in Discord, we have a specific section for TA and trading. So, I want to talk to all the traders, the lads that are in our channel, and hop into that. I started populating, dropping charts there. So in addition to Dimitri's desk that I do, Tuesday and Friday, I'm going to be extracting some of those charts that are, look pretty good, and I'll be dropping them into our Discord channel on the charts, so you can follow some, possible trade ideas that are kind of developing as we go along. So.
Awesome, guys. Well, initially, I am going to ask Dimitri to kind of break down his thoughts that are related. I know you broke down sentiment analysis last night that he do on Sundays, but we're going to touch on this risk on or risk off environment. No one seems to really know. Everyone's kind of like bracing and waiting for the Fed on multiple accounts. But the first thing I want to do here, guys, is because I dropped it in the lads Telegram. So Dark Forest is like a RTS. It's being marketed as an RTS game. It's on the Ethereum blockchain. It's very No Man's Sky like, and you need a whitelist key to actually access it. I DM'd the team this morning, and we were able to get two. Two actual. Let me see if I can pull this up. Two actual whitelist keys. It's kind of very eclectic. I know, Dima, I was telling you about it this morning. You were like, what the hell is going on here? But once you get the login information, it's almost like you start with I believe it's on testnet, and you start with a world. Let me see if I can't make this actually work out for us, guys. So I know this is hard to see because it's kind of minimized, but what you do is essentially you start with this world. It's on the Ethereum testnet, but eventually it will be on the Ethereum mainnet. A lot of influencers have been on this game. I've seen them posting it to their Twitter, so I had to check it out. Basically, you start with this planet that lives on the blockchain, obviously, and you can zoom out. You can see kind of my sphere of influence here. The way that I think this is being played out is you start with one planet and you start to grow larger by sending energy and resources. I don't know if you guys can really tell, but there's bigger planets with like a gravitational pull there, smaller planets. This looks like a planet owned by someone else. I'm just getting into the game, so the only thing I really know how to do is send resources to other planets, which I'm assuming then gets you let's see, hold on. Gets you others. Let me see. I'm not gonna ruin our stream. I promise you, Dimitri. But basically, what you guys have here is I'll send resources. It's on some like test net, and you basically can send resources. Unconfirmed transactions are these dotted lines, and then once the transaction is confirmed, what you'll see is like a strong line. But I honestly, and then Ronan's asking me questions, so you can see that transaction is confirmed. It looks like resources are headed to that planet. Again, I don't know a lot about it. We had to set up Layer1Live this morning, so I didn't have a time to get through. But it looks like you start with a very small planet. You get to like a bigger sized planet. I don't know if that means he's gonna like take me over or what's gonna happen here. But it's marketed as this kind of decentralized RTS game. And really haven't gone into it. But I just wanted to give you that. Guys, Dimitri, how should we give this away? Because I've got one whitelist key left. You need a whitelist key to access. I don't know. Do you want to do a hashtag? We love the wheel of names here. Buff loves the wheel of names.
Do we have the wheel?
Yeah, I got wheel names.
Yeah? All right, cool. So we just do hashtag get me in.
Hashtag get me in. Guys, you heard it here first. Hashtag get me in. We'll do that giveaway kind of like 10 minutes from now after we get through quick news. And whoever wins gets this whitelist key. It's obviously you need a MetaMask to kind of interact with this game. But if you say get me in, we'll get you one of these whitelist keys, and you can check out with us, because literally we're just learning it too, what the hell Dark Forest is and how to go forward. So cool.
Yeah, that UX and UI is kind of got me confused a little bit in the beginning, but it seems like you figured it out and you were able to get set up there. So we'll see what's going to happen with that thing.
Yeah, it looks like we got the get me ins rolling. So people are interested in Dark Forest. We'll definitely be hopefully talking more about that as we go forward. The base idea though is really cool, right? Because you could have I don't know if you have seen No Man's Sky, but you can start with a, just a traditional kind of, or you start on one planet and then you go and farm resources on others, and you continue to like build up your ship and all these things, and being able to kind of have that live on the blockchain, maybe where you can import that into another game. We always talk about interoperability. It's a basic game, we all know it, but the idea there is really cool, where you can kind of grow your blockchain based like planet and gain resources that way. So that's the shill for the week. It looks like Asmodee's saying throw him out the airlock. That's a reference to our game night. So guys, I'm going to input the stories. So if you do in like 1 minute, you can refresh your browser. You can see all the stories we're talking about this week, because I think we're about to get into breaking news here, if I'm not mistaken. Quick news. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So we've got some BitMex that we're going to cover, and we'll hit it later in discussion as well. And then just a ton of exchange news. So Dimitri's going to take this one. I think he's taking all of them. So good luck.
All right, welcome to another episode of Dimitri's Desk. Let's get rolling with the quick news. So obviously we have to cover the BitMex stuff, right? So on Thursday when this whole thing dropped, you had basically BitMex and Arthur Hayes kind of go out and kind of explain their position, right, with the CFTC and SEC, kind of putting some pressure. It's actually CFTC and DoJ putting some pressure on BitMex and saying basically that they have operated without AML procedures and all that stuff that we kind of knew BitMex was known for, and been operating like that for a while. Did start AML and KYC, but it seems like it was kind of a little bit late, and the CFTC was going to go through this anyway. So that kind of hit the wire in terms of the news. And, at the end of the day, everybody was kind of expecting something like this to happen, where regulators would go aggressively after that exchange. Mm-hmm. And it's interesting to see, like kind of the BitMex statement where they talk about, hey, we completely disagree with obviously, what the CFTC is saying about us, and we're prepared to defend our position. But the problem is that actually one of their guys, the CTO that got arrested. Mm-hmm. So that was a pretty big FUD in terms of, kind of like what's going to happen with BitMex. And initial reactions, we saw obviously some players kind of moving away from that exchange. Because the counterparty risk has been elevated because of what has happened recently with BitMex. So you have some players that are just kind of diversifying their portfolio, not maybe pulling away of some assets from BitMex just to diversify it in other places. But overall, we've seen that BitMex has kind of stabilized in terms of the open interest that has dropped off. So even though there's quite a bit of money that left the exchange is still fully operational, and they still have a pretty good open interest as far as the participation goes from some of these players. There was basically an article that says that BitMex has bled 45K Bitcoin since U.S. government charges allow other exchanges to benefit. So it's interesting. To kind of see in this tweet, BitMex CEO Arthur Hayes believes that the regulators will set their sights on other exchanges and DeFi protocols in the near future. He told CZ from Binance, Justin Sun from Tron, so don't laugh, you dumb. Next.
I think I tried to pull up BitLord's tweet real quick. He might have blocked me. I can't see it whatsoever. I don't know why I would have gotten blocked by BitLord. What's the URL as well? I know that BitMex put up like some type of homepage where it was like Arthur laughing.
Really? No, I didn't see that one.
Kat, send us that in the chat if you can find it. There's a link to a homepage where Arthur is literally, it's like bit.mex or something like that. It's something weird, and it's Arthur as the Wolf of Wall Street guy saying, "I'm not fucking leaving."
That's awesome.
It's pretty good.
Yeah, I gotta check that out. But yeah, so like this BitMex stuff obviously caused this FUD in the market, and nobody wasn't sure what's going to happen, because if you're looking to move away from that exchange, you're going to have to settle your positions, right? So you're going to get out of certain positions. So there's a little bit of reshuffling done. But overall, I think, like I've talked about on desk, is that the volatility that we saw in the market as far as the Bitcoin goes, it was actually probably mostly due to like the opening of the new month, because we've seen so much volatility on the first and the second of every month for the last like 3-4 months. So there's really not much of a big impact in terms of BTC really like falling off the cliff with this news. And then obviously we're going to talk later on in terms of the risk on and risk off and where we are now with all these things happening. But just wanted to give you a quick update in terms of BitMex. I mean, it's still operational. People are still trading on it. There is that, CFTC and DoJ thing hanging over it, right? And they do have a war chest to fight, right? So they're sitting on quite a bit as far as the funds go. So they're in a good position to, kind of fight for protection. But when you go against CFTC and DOJ, it can be draining in terms of resources. So it would be interesting to see how that's going to play out.
It's interesting that we're saying that a bunch, but that it requires it. But it definitely is an interesting point that the SEC came out and said most stocks might be and most equities might be tokenized in the future. So we have all this kind of stuff up in the air at this point, right? The CFTC, the Department of Justice are saying one thing. Obviously, the SEC is settled with a bunch of people as well. I know Kik, Telegram, who was the latest one? I think it was Salt that they settled with. But it's just it's an interesting time, man. And this, I guess we'll touch on this in discussion. But what does that mean for other centralized exchanges? I know Binance took a hit right after the news, but it's since kind of recovered a little bit. But what does this mean for DEXs? What does this mean for the future centralized exchanges? We were kind of getting in a little bit of a debate before the episode went live. Is this bullish or bearish for decentralized exchanges? Because I think on the surface it is, right? You have this decentralized exchange that doesn't really have any person that any one person can go after. But I think the actual attack on BitMex might push some decentralized exchange founders or people that would have founded a project, and they might think twice about doing it. So.
Yeah, and it's interesting because when we talk about these other exchanges, so it's not just BitMex that didn't have KYC, right? It's like they had measures, so it's like, okay, if you move in X amount of money, then you have to do KYC. We've seen that on Binance, we've seen that on other exchanges where you don't have to complete KYC if you're doing small potatoes, right? But if you're doing bigger amounts, then you have to complete the KYC, which means that if all of those things kind of fall in the same category, then none of those exchanges are kind of protected, right? It's just BitMex is got, is in the crosshairs because it's very big, right? And it's been operating for quite some time. And they probably have a lot of money to spend to fight. So that's another, thing about it. But anyway, let's kind of move along. Then we'll revisit BitMex a little bit more 100%. Here in discussions here. But more exchanges as far as the quick news go. KuCoin has got some good news in terms of the hack that occurred, right? We're all aware of that 200 million hack that happened. They now say that they were able to identify these guys, the bad players, and now they've got police involved, where they pass along the information, where they're going to chase them down, basically, and try and find these people. But it's crazy because it's like, well, before when hackers were, hacking exchanges and so on, we pretty much, okay, it's a done deal. It is what it is. But here it's like now we have the ability to kind of fight back and start recovering these funds, find who these people are, and actually go through some legal, process to maybe jail them or whatnot. But they were able to recover quite a bit of funds. So they managed to get 64 million in assets from suspicious addresses with the help of partners in the industry. So it's nice to see how all the players kind of get together and basically try to work to get these funds back.
So when you say that they recovered these funds, what do you? Did they get sent it back to them? I don't understand how they could get it. I guess if it's deposited into an exchange, maybe the exchange can freeze those funds and then return them. What is the situation as far as the returning of the funds?
I mean, just based on the article, that's pretty much all it tells, right? Okay. So it's like, so we can assume that, if the recovery occurs, then it's done in the means of, exchanges pulling the funds and recovering them. So
I love decentralization, man.
Yeah, absolutely. But it's like, and again, that goes back into that discussion that I think we had last episode, where it's like, well,
Oh, did we lose him? Uh-oh. Guys, did we lose Dimitri or did we lose me? Dima, you there?
well, what do you mean? I'm here.
Okay. All right. You're gone for like 0.5 seconds.
Oh no.
Okay. Guys, we're back.
Okay, yeah, it says my connection is unstable. They're trying to mute me, man.
Getting
Uh,
DOSed.
yeah. So it's just like everybody screams for decentralization, but when something happens, everybody's like, "Oh, wait a minute, let's get some centralized tools so we can recover the funds." And that's kind of what's happening, and everybody's playing, kind of that game. So, I think it's in general, it's good, to have that kind of recourse, like the ability to punish some of these hackers, right?
Mm-hmm.
And recover the funds. I think a lot of this stuff in terms of how it's done, it's going to be behind closed doors, because it's probably, if once the identity is found by these people, then they're probably going to go through a process of negotiation, right? Something we've seen in the past, with other platforms like Synthetics, for example. When they had the exploit with the Oracle, right, they ended up negotiating with the person who's doing the exploit to get the kind of the funds back. And I think that's a similar fashion that they're doing things with KuCoin exchange.
Dimitri, there's a ton of comments that are coming through. I think this is kind of some of the best insights that we've had from the community up to this point. A lot of people are interested in this subject. We also have some comments about R.I.P. the bear. It looks like the bear is back now. But yeah, a lot of you guys have some good comments here. I think the Justin Sun article is something we could touch on as well. I think it's something that most of us knew. If you didn't know Justin Sun was some like maniacal like egomaniac, then I don't know where you've been in crypto for the past, however long. Shout out to Ryan Dennis. But yeah, man, we'll touch on that in a sec. But a lot of good comments. Did you see any specifically as far as like centralized exchanges or some of these hack situations that you want to touch on?
Yeah, I haven't really got into the comments yet. You've been kind of watching them as I was, as I was talking. But
Yeah.
the Justin Sun article for sure. Yeah, that one is pretty big, and there's a lot of interesting stuff that kind of people have been, some people did know, but it hasn't been kind of made public, in terms of an article.
Yeah, there's a couple comments. Huawei said, what if the majority of BTC was held by institutions using BitMex via VPN, since a lot of BTC did move eventually to Gemini? It looks like Village is predicting a Binance hack of major proportions. Pinochle saying he doesn't think it's that bearish for centralized exchanges because Kraken got that bank approval. And then Janny's saying something about a DEX. For any DEX to be really compared to a centralized exchange, we at least need some fixes to all the mempool abuse.
Yeah. So, in regards to the MEX, right, and institutions using it, yeah, that's something we've discussed in the past, where it's like you have, hedge funds and entities and institutions that are actually using BitMex for trading because it has the most liquidity, and that's still, kind of the case nowadays, even though there's some funds that are being pulled, right? So I think it's just the proportion in terms of, all right, when these entities sit down, right, hedge funds and so on, they calculate the counterparty risk. It's their job to calculate, right, as they interact with these centralized exchanges. So if the counterparty risk is going up, right, then it's like, okay, my allocation to that exchange is going to be reduced because I don't want to be overexposed to the counterparty risk. And then you reshuffle the portfolio to be exposed to other exchanges like Gemini or Kraken. But the problem there is that even though, like, yeah, they did get the banking license, but did they get it from did they get it from New York? Did New York give them blessings? Last time I checked, Kraken was not that cool with the DOJ. So it's like there's a lot of things that still need to be answered. And then even though it sounds good on paper, kind of the banking license that they got, but there's still a long way to kind of, for Kraken to be a really major player. I think, there's still, BitMex is still going to be utilized by these entities. It's just to what extent, right? They're just going to diversify it a little bit more, and move their bags into different spots. But given where, how big BitMex is, how big their war chest is in terms of insurance fund, liquidity that's available there, it's still going to be a powerhouse.
Yeah, I want to get to the rest of these comments because and keep them coming, guys, because really, like, they make the conversation a lot better. And we do have some quick news to get to, but the last thing I'll touch on with this, and maybe you can comment as well, the lack of execution with actually getting these funds to someplace where the hackers can use them. I understand that there's like a major maybe there's no off ramp for these people other than the centralized exchanges that are now like blocking access. But I'm amazed at like the actual execution of the hack and then the lack of execution post hack with getting the funds actually into the wallet or into some situation where you can get them into fiat and actually have those funds. Whether that's use of a mixer or just like more sophisticated processes not to get caught. It's happened multiple times in like the past 2 weeks now.
Yeah, it's interesting that the other side of it, once you come out of it, how do you move these funds and with that being tracked? I think it's just in general, overall the analytics are getting way better, right, in tracking. And I think the guys who are doing these hacks, they still use probably older models in terms of like, how things were done, but they don't work anymore. I think the industry has advanced so much that it's just the way it is. But also you have to keep in mind that with the decentralized exchanges and lending facilities and so on, right, you can have, let's say, if you steal the tokens, right, let's say you steal Bitcoin, ETH, or whatever it is, well, you don't necessarily need to move it, or sell it into something else. You can just use that as a collateral to take out a bunch of loans, and then that's it, you're out, and then there's no KYC or anything on those, right? So as long as you have the collateral, nobody cares. And boom, now everybody watches this wallet. Well, you got this money, right? And then suddenly, they're like, the hacker's like, yeah, I'm going to return all these funds, right? Now all this margin that you put up for the loans is going to go back to the exchanges or whatever, and then he's going to be, with the loans in terms of USDC that he got, that's a possibility too, a strategy.
So then you would have to work with the lending services as well, like almost in the same way that the exchanges work. You would have to go to AAVE or something and say, hey, whenever these funds come in and they try to get a loan, you have to kind of blacklist them.
Right, exactly.
Okay, gotcha. All right. We got a lot more chat going on. Danny, it's nice to see you in the chat. Mike Scott's in the house. We've got... I sent you one thing, Dimitri, which
I saw it. Yeah. I was laughing.
Yeah. So guys, I'm going to give you a quick sneak peek, but I want Dimitri to get through the rest of this quick news so that we can move on to discussion. But I'm going to give you one sneak peek. It looks like Brandon sent over the list of memes that were submitted this week in the public channel, and I'll give you one quick sneak peek. Let me see if I can't get a good one. This is a pretty good one. So there's a good one. We'll get into the memes that were submitted. We appreciate all the lads, and obviously based on the ranking order that we think 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and those who submitted are going to get some extra lads, guys. So
that's awesome.
Let's finish up on quick news, and I really want to get to those memes.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, these quick news have been quite slow, but it's okay because there's so much meat that is behind this. So speaking of Chainalysis, right? So we've talked about like this thing where it's like the IRS came out and they're like, all right, we're gonna give you guys a bounty, if you can crack Monero, and they were offering, I think they were offering like something. It was like less than $1 million. I think there was like 700,000 or 600,000 that they're offering. And I kind of laughed at it because I was like, well, who the hell is going to do this for this much, considering how much that industry is moving through Monero, and how much value is there. But we do have Chainalysis and Texas firm win the $1 million IRS contract to crack Monero. So that's going to be interesting to see. They obviously secured that bounty and they'll try to crack it. But, in general, we've seen that Chainalysis has been, struggling with Monero specifically. So I'm not sure what their plan is in cracking it, and using these funds. But IRS is definitely trying to clamp down on, people that probably are avoiding taxes and like doing some interesting stuff in terms of money laundering. So.
Got it.
That's the update there. And then also we have Gox, right? So Yeah, remember that name.
Some lads might be Mount Goxers, to be
Yeah,
honest.
who's affected or who knows about Mt. Gox? Like, back in the day that they've seen that they've been in crypto when it happened. But TLDR, basically Mt. Gox got hacked back in the day. One of the biggest hacks in history of Bitcoin in terms of exchanges. There's some stuff that came out in terms of, all right, the trustee that's supposed to be in charge of distributing the Bitcoin that was taken, basically, there's some news and people talking about how it's going to be distributed here in the middle of October, October 15th, which is 150,000 worth of BTC. But the thing is, this distribution has been delayed so many times, and it's really not clear in terms of like, is it going to be distributed on October 15th, or is it going to be delayed again? Because what they're promising is that they're going to come up with a plan for distribution, but not necessarily the distribution of itself. Mm-hmm. So the people, I don't know, the people that have been waiting for this distribution, it's like, you're probably going to have to wait longer. There's really no good news. It's like they just announced the fact that they're going to come up with a plan to distribute it, that they will announce sometime down the road. And this thing has been dragging for so long that I'm pretty sure that people already kind of lost hope at this point. So in terms of, FUD, people were saying that, hey, 150,000 BTC are going to, move around in the market, which might create some downside pressure for BTC. Well, guess what? That's probably not going to happen because, distribution is not going to most likely occur. It's just going to be the plan that's going to be rolled out.
Man, if you are a Mt. Goxer, shout out to you. Like, not shout out because you survived it or what have you, but you've been in crypto for a long time. Me and Dimitri got in around 2016 era, and that feels like those were younger men back then. Like, yeah. Seriously, I can't imagine being in this space for as long as you guys have if you've been back all the way in Mt. Gox. So definitely good. I mean, we'll see whatever ends up happening there, but yeah, not too bullish on those people getting their funds anytime soon. So
yeah, it sucks because there's like every time this comes up, people get excited and they feel like, okay, we're moving forward in the process, but well, at least we are moving in the process, so that's the kind of the silver lining there. But I was definitely not around doing the Mt. Gox thing, and now I'm just like watching all the documentaries and everything about it. It's crazy, man. Like having like this happen right to an industry that's so early. It's like, how does it survive, right? And it ended up booming.
Yep. 100%. All right, so we're going to get to some of this here. Guys, we got into Y-axis. I'm just going to point this out really quick. It's not on our dashboard at all. We got into Y-axis, or I did last night. I know Mike had gotten into it. A couple Mike's an original OG on the Layer1 team, and Mike got into Y-axis, which is another kind of robo yield in the likes of like YFI. I got out recently over the past night. It was a quick flip, but it looks like they just put out another announcement here. I'm going to try to find it. Mike posted it in our chat. Let me see if I can't get this for you guys, but it looks like they're introducing a meta vault. That might be interesting for those of you that are still interested in DeFi tokens. I don't know who that is nowadays. Obviously, it's cooled off a bit, but it looks like they introduced the meta vault. I'll put it into the chat now. Let's see if you guys can see it. If you're interested in Y-axis, they are doing some good things. I think they are moving forward with a lot of their plans, and they've got pretty strong yield in their pools right now. So definitely interested. Again, I was in that overnight. I kind of just sold, recently. So interesting stuff from them, but they announced their meta vault. I haven't got a chance to look onto it, obviously, because I'm on this live stream. But yeah, thanks for bringing that through, Mike. Anyways, this is what we're going to do. We're going to look at these memes.
Yeah, yes.
We're going to look at these memes.
Yeah, these are some prime memes, man.
So we're going to, guys, the announcement will come later today. We got some token art that we'll get into as well. Some token art submissions. Those that reached out via website design, that's something you'll be getting a message from us today as well. But we did have that meme competition, and I think we have enough here to kind of have like the ranking. So let us know what you think. Which one of these memes is going to be the best? Dimitri, I'm going to start at the top so you can follow along with everybody as well. I probably starting at the top with Ollie and coming out strong.
Yeah.
With the did the lad show start yet? You missed lads again. Batman just slapping him.
Yeah, that one is one of my favorites for sure. I like the one about the app, opening packs. That one is funny too.
Gil's one's pretty good.
Yeah. Let me see. There's another one.
Ronan's face is amazing on here as well.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. You see, I like the one that's like buying essential home products, buy memes to farm pineapples to earn NFT to impress lads. That one is great too.
Which one is this?
That's the one with Drake. That's the Drake one.
Oh, the Drake one. Let me see. I haven't even seen some of these. Buying essential home products, buying meat. That's good. That's good. Who is that?
I don't know.
Let's see. Ari came through with the
submissions. Oh, yeah.
Man. Only the finest lads may enter the Lad Citadel lands. These are some good ones. Me, my wife, lads token.
Yeah.
That's hilarious, guys.
Yeah, that's some good stuff.
That coin better be the real McCoy. I'll be back with the lads. That's funny. Good submissions here, guys. Let us know what your favorite here is. The team's gonna go back and see. I believe we're gonna rank them 1 through 5. So the top 5 are gonna receive the majority of lads, but then we'll also obviously shell some out for those who submitted. So yeah. Stacy's front running this a little bit with submitting 15 different memes. Oh no, that's Ari. That's amazing.
Yeah, that's some great stuff.
Ari's the chief meme producer,
specialist. So, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, love that guy. So appreciate it again. This is something that we're gonna do a lot, obviously with game night and these different bounty events. These are just things we're trying to do to improve Layer 1. So it definitely helps when you guys kind of submit and just contribute to the community. We shout out to you guys 100%. So we'll be picking a top 5 tonight. And we'll post them in Telegram.
Yeah, man.
All right, I guess the last thing here, we all-time high is 52. I know Dimitri doesn't like me saying this too much, but all-time high is 52. We hit, I believe, 39 was the top here for concurrent viewers. So get fired up, guys. You know what we got to do. We got to hit 53 if we want those extra lads. A lot of updates coming. Man, Whale's been killing it, haven't they? Like Whale Coin's been killing it. We'll touch on her later, what she's been doing with her social tokens. We're definitely planning some big things for lads, guys. So to all our early contributors, you guys, I don't want to say too much, but we're excited for all of you. That's for sure.
Yeah, it's gonna be a lot of fun. Interesting times ahead, to say the least.
Boom. Take it away, man. We got a discussion piece, guys. We're gonna hit discussion, and then we're going to hit, I believe, Wax, EOS, DeFi, and NFTs. That's kind of the wrap up for this week. We have probably about an hour left in this, so this is our favorite part of the episode here, other than the meme reviews. We'll hit the discussion piece. As always, discussion is going to be with you guys as well. So whatever topics we're bringing up here, we want to kind of have with you. But without further ado, I'll let Dimitri kind of hit this away.
Yeah. So the discussion piece kind of, I want to talk about is just the overall sentiment, in the market right now, because given the situation that, we came across last week with so many news that are quite negative for the market coming out, with the, with the BitMex, with the El Presidente, all that stuff there. We saw a little bit of initial reaction, pullback in the futures markets. Markets kind of corrected here for a little bit. There was uncertainty in terms of the health of El President, and now there's more stuff kind of coming out. We also had the KuCoin hack. We had all this DeFi that's unwinding because of APYs are rolling back, right? So now the rates are much lower than they used to be. So a lot of people are kind of reshuffling their portfolios based on APY and the counterparty risk and all that stuff. So we had DeFi that unwinded almost like 50%. And all these things are happening. And yet, we still are holding on as far as the prices go for Bitcoin and ETH. and just in general broad markets, right? We're still seeing that, it's still acting as risk on. Given like the situation that we're in with all these things coming down, we would expect the outlook for, for the market kind of be, clouded, and people would have a hard time kind of calculating the risk and make appropriate decisions. But it seems like we're seeing a lot of this uncertainty and fear coming from retail sector more than the institutional sector is actually, is quite healthy. But the retail side of things, it seems like retail crowd is quite fearful for the outlook, given what things that have been going on. But we don't see that being reflected, in prices and overall just people taking back and maybe getting into stable coins out of crypto and so on, right? We haven't seen any of that happen to that big of an extent. It's also interesting to note how CoinDesk website doesn't work for me right now. I don't know.
Still?
I don't know why it says that. It says internal server error.
They might have just oh no, that is down. CoinDesk is down. Breaking news.
Breaking news.
Bringing you the hottest, bringing you the latest Layer1Live.
Again, see CoinDesk website down, all of these things are piling on, and it's like what's like
CoinDesk down.
BTC, and the bears 10%. Are starving,
Yeah.
The bears are still starving. The price action doesn't want to move lower. And, it seems like market participants are just chewing this up in terms of like any sell pressure that comes through. It seems like it's getting picked up and eaten by the buyers. And overall, the price is still, relatively kind of steady. We haven't broken below 10K, obviously, but we haven't moved up either, right? Which is like, all right, if in a situation where we have so many negative news that come through and the markets get hammered, nonstop with the negativity and the price doesn't drop, well, what happens once the, kind of the cloud of the negativity moves away, right? What's going to happen to the market, right? And the idea behind this is that once kind of the cloudy days pass by and we stay steady, as far as the prices go, then it can perhaps, the market will continue the bull run without having like the cloudy, FUD on top of it. But it's hard to make that case right now because there's still that cloud of uncertainty, right? And everybody's like kind of making the bets. But what is this?
That's the market right now, man. Yeah, the bears are having a rough time. I'm sure Dimitri had some shorts open when all this happened. So I don't know. Maybe it didn't work out. I can feel the kind of worry in your voice there as you talk about the markets, man. Yeah, it seemed like we were headed for like something really crazy, right? It all happened at once. I think in 2017, obviously before you would have seen a huge drawback. I think that would have been that combination of things together would have been massive. But I think like what you say all the time, man, with the industry maturing, you don't see the huge run-ups. But you also don't see the huge dumps, right? You definitely, I mean, that we have seen like that March effect obviously was big, but like just as I would have expected at least like a 8, something in the vicinity of like 7 to 10% drop in Bitcoin based on all of those things happening at once. But like I believe it was Huawei said, Bitcoin down 3% on those news, man, and pretty much recovered almost all the way. So.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Like, it's interesting, playing along on that same theme of, the market getting more sophisticated. Overall, the volatility is going to, slow down of that asset. But the reason, March obviously was one-off, right? Because it was just, all the markets were crashing, right? It was that liquidity chase. So it's not really isolated to crypto only. But it's just interesting to see how the market is behaving during these times and how fluid it is. Also, you have to keep in mind that a lot of people are probably holding BTC, right? Let's say, or ETH, they would probably have it locked up somewhere, right? And they lock it up for yield or whatnot, right? To turn the percentage on an annual basis. So, and the unwinding of that would take time to do in order to even put it back into circulation where you can unwind your positions. So it's actually, it's interesting because when people are locked into, let's say, these assets and these vehicles, they can't necessarily withdraw the funds right away and dump it on the market, which gives the market time to digest the news without making rapid, kind of fire reactions that we've seen, where it's like news comes out, boom, everything crashes, right? Everybody sells. No, the market is already so sufficient that it will, take time to digest the news and then make the decisions. If they do need to unwind certain percentage of their portfolio and dump it onto the market, they'll be done in a slower manner rather than rapid fire and, kind of what we've seen in volatility where everything just dumps like crazy.
Yeah, so we have this on the thumbnail, but is it risk on time? I mean, we have people calling for maybe like a harder capitulation, right? Like if we have this huge DeFi summer, we need some type of like major pullback to make sure that like everything's okay, and then we can kind of run up forward. So they're kind of saying there's not enough blood in the markets at the time. So based on, again, not investment advice, guys, as always, but like based on what you're seeing. What's your prediction there from like a risk-on environment? Like, some of it obviously has to do with the traditional markets. Again, we've got the Fed talking about trying to pass a stimulus bill and all these different things. But what do you think?
Yeah, I think it is still in risk-on environment, and it's kind of hidden because right now it seems like it smells like we're in the middle between the risk-on and off, but the reason why I'm saying we're still in risk on is because in my opinion that with DeFi, the fact that it ran up so quickly and the fact that it didn't blow up, right, it's a very important case. Everybody was screaming DeFi is going to blow up, it's going to like impact the market, everything's going to go to zero, it's like that's it, chaos, right? And I've talked about that. Hey, listen, there are serious risks in terms of liquidity being pulled. There's like they can trickle into the spot market, and this whole thing can blow up and cause a lot of issues similar to kind of March that we've seen. But that hasn't happened. Even with the DeFi moving like 50% lower, the markets are still operating like they should, and the trickling down effects onto the spot hasn't happened. So therefore, we can say, hey, listen, this is just a correction in DeFi sector for the moment being, and I think the overall sector is still healthy. And it hasn't blown up like many people were saying it would. So therefore, why would we, be worried now? What I'm saying about this situation. Yeah, and also the stimulus, obviously that you brought up, that's still in the works, and I think that's still going to be passed, soon, which will obviously impact the dollar and overall, everybody's essentially being pushed into risk on. Not necessarily wants to be there.
I like that. I like that a lot because we're basically like all watching the Fed. We're basically and a lot of it has to do with the election as well. Like don't get us wrong. Like the COVID stuff with Trump was interesting as well. We said Trump twice. We're definitely getting banned. But there are going to be some fireworks, man. Either way, as far as the election is concerned, as far as kind of the policies that get pushed forward here from both candidates. I know that both sides were trying to see what they could do from like a stimulus bill. I think the Democratic side was looking for like a heavy stimulus bill, and then the Republican side is probably going to meet them somewhere in the middle. But who knows, man? It's a crazy time. November is going to be absolutely like bonkers. As opposed, like who knows?
On a side note, I'm excited for the new Borat that's going to come out right before elections. I'm super excited for that. So I'm looking forward, to that movie.
10 years in the making.
Yeah, I know. Exactly. Right. It's gotta be good. Yeah, man. So like, I think in general, like on Dimitri's desk on Friday, somebody asked me, it's like, do you think that we should see more people getting into crypto while there's economic hardship and people are getting like kind of stimulus from the government to be able to survive and pay for food because they lost jobs and so on, right? Which is an interesting question, right? It's like in an environment when there's like a global slowdown, a lot of people losing jobs and they're wondering how they're going to pay for their living. Who the hell is going to be buying crypto?
Who's going to be buying memes? Everyone,
right.
Apparently.
Exactly. Yeah. So it's interesting, but if you think of like on a global scale, just where we are now as far as the interest rates go, and let's say if you're sitting on cash, right, cash is really kind of trash, right? It's you're losing money. You're sitting on cash. And then you can't really deposit in the bank because the trash APR that's available there. So stocks, that could be an alternative where you can get into stocks that's allocate capital there where it grows. But safer plays like bonds and so on, they haven't been performing well, obviously, either. So it's like the overall, societies are kind of pushed to take on risk that to put their money to work in stocks, or let's say crypto, diversifying Bitcoin and all that stuff, because there's no other like good products available that are, that make sense. Because right now with the interest rates being so low, it makes no sense for you to keep the money in the bank, and all the capital restrictions that are happening as well globally, also slowing down the movement of money, right? So all these things kind of aligning, I think overall the people are getting pushed into risk, which is resulting in, overall prices going higher for like, stocks and crypto in general.
Yeah, we've had the stablecoin discussion multiple times on the channel with different interviews as well. We've had the stablecoin discussion, how they've kind of taken the narrative of that store of value away from Bitcoin in general. It will be interesting to see. Like, I think the dollar does recover. Like the Fed's going to do anything in their power to make sure the dollar maintains. But obviously, it's a complex issue, and it'll be interesting to see where people flee if the dollar does like continue to get inflated away, right? Like what happens there? Will stablecoin? I mean, I guess you could have a stablecoin in obviously another currency, but that will be interesting to see if more money flows maybe into Bitcoin when we see a dollar start to devalue.
Yeah, and it's interesting. Overall, kind of inflation has been something that the Fed has been pushing for. So weaker dollar is not necessarily a bad thing, as long as we stay competitive and it's still the global reserve currency. But in general, it's like if you think about stablecoins, it's like a no-brainer. They offer such a huge APR, right, to hold stablecoins that you don't really get that APR anywhere else, and that just has to do with the market efficiency, right? So you have have borrowers that are willing to pay such interest on their loans. Meanwhile, in the real world, banks are offering, loans for dirt cheap, right? But the problem is that, a lot of crypto companies can't work with these banks that offer dirt cheap loans, right? So therefore, we have this market where the APY is really high when you hold the stable coins, because the other side is willing to pay that premium. So I think that's going to become more popular.
Janny's got an interesting comment here. Libra.
What happened to Libra?
Yeah, I mean, if it ever does launch, a basket's an interesting play, right? Like having a basket of multiple currencies, different assets. That's kind of fully, I wouldn't say backed, but like kind of fully accepted if they do have the respect of people, and they have that reputation, right? It could be an interesting play.
Yeah, but
it's just get off the ground.
Yeah, keep it up with Libra. It's like, I don't even know where that project is at right now, because I remember they were saying, well, we're not doing baskets anymore. Like, baskets are done. We're doing something else, and it's like, keep it up with what the hell is going on there. I haven't seen Libra in the news, recently. So, there's a lot of stuff going on in terms of like what you mentioned, like SEC is trying to tokenize stocks, right? Which it makes it, it's really just, kind of the feature to make it easier in terms of transacting. It does not necessarily mean that they're going to use Tron blockchain, so it's like, what I'm saying? But then you also have governments that are starting to utilize like, that the crypto dollar or crypto local currency that they're trying to introduce, because there's also a lot of issues in terms of people moving funds around and hard to track, right? For, let's say, you trying to evade taxes or trying to find loopholes. So all of that stuff is continuing to happen. And I think, in general, bullish.
Yeah, definitely. Libra's going to have a hard kind of road. I think Janny's talking about this here. He says, I guess they're trying to fight with regulation. They haven't got an easy road ahead of them. It reminds me a little bit of EOS, where you have this situation of kind of taking the bulk of it on the chin up front. They've settled with the SEC. They're kind of working tightly with regulators. I know they have an office like near DC even, and it seems like short term that stuff kind of hurts, but it'll be interesting in like a long term time frame. 10 years, 5 years, if that's not the better play, right? I know it's going to move slowly. It's going to move not at the pace people would like, but sometimes even with Libra taking this hard path where step by step, even though that step is like you've got 1,000-pound weight attached to your foot, it's better than being free and then getting absolutely screwed on the back end.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's actually also brings up a good point that how traditional companies that are getting into this crypto stuff are moving very slow compared to like how we used to see things move, right?
Mm-hmm.
Here it's like boom, announcement, boom, platform is ready in a week, boom, yield farming, let's go, and then so on, right?
Yeah.
So
interesting stuff, guys. All right, so we're pretty much gonna move on here. We've got some Wax EO stuff that we'll hit before we hit DeFi and NFTs. We do have to do this giveaway. We talked about the Wheel of Names that Buffalo loves so much. We're doing a giveaway here for those that had put, I believe, Get Me In earlier in the episode for Dark Forest, this RTS, this project that's limiting or that's kind of marketing itself as an RTS on the blockchain. I've got that extra whitelist key, and I'm going to click the spin now. So good luck to everyone here. Let's get a drum roll.
All
right, it's rolling. And it looks like Chris. I don't know what Chris that is. I need to go check it out. But we have a winner that is Chris. So good luck, great luck on your part. And I will get you that whitelist. I need to actually just message you that. So let me know which Chris is that. Can we go back? I'm going to find it. Yeah, Chris Tuttle. So Chris Tuttle, if you're still here. Otherwise, guys, if Chris Tuttle's not here, we'll run it again. If he doesn't come in like 10, 15 minutes, that'll just be his loss there, and we'll run it all over again. So thank God I closed the Wheel of Names. We'll have to do it all over again. All right, guys, so this is it. We're going to touch on Wax really quick. So I'm going to go ahead and move this past Ethereum. I don't know why I left Ethereum on there today, but we touched on the Ethereum news earlier, and we'll get to some of that in DeFi as well. So we're going to move on to Wax. For those of you that don't follow the Wax blockchain, it's obviously an EOS.IO tech kind of network there, really heavily focused on collectibles in the past probably, forever. That's like one of their models, basically. They came out with a Wax token update, and there's kind of a larger discussion to be had here, and that is kind of the value accrual that happens on these large tokens. I think one of the things that you were saying earlier with DeFi, and just like talking about the volume increasing even with the pullback that we saw, it's funny to see that ETH is doing all of this and not seeing any value accrual on like its major token. Like ETH has never been more explosive,
right.
and $300, like it's interesting. And that's what we've seen on Wax. I know Ronan has talked a lot about how there's not, much price appreciation in Wax, even though they're doing some cool things compared to some other projects in the top 100. Some of that has to do with just lack of interest, right? Like we don't see a lot of volume coming into Wax, and that's the reason that it's not listed on many exchanges. I can pull it up on CoinGecko here and see what exchanges, but definitely not the top exchanges when it comes to the trading of Wax token. But did you, just from like a general standpoint, and we'll get to it here in a second, but from your like brief look at this model, what do you make?
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting. They're trying to obviously that Wax to Ethereum bridge, in terms of like kind of addressing the issue with the fees that we've always talked about, how when you're operating in NFTs market and the fees are higher than the actual NFT, then it's like, why the hell am I going to do this, right?
Yeah.
So and in general, we haven't seen, like you mentioned, the appreciation in Wax as far as the token goes. It seems like they just use that token just to acquire the NFT and then dump the token right away for like Ethereum or whatnot, right? So it's like, I think the Wax community is just identifying the outflow of capital, and they're trying to address it that like, hey, listen, we got to fix this issue because it seems like the trend is there. Everybody's just using Wax just to transact. but then they quickly quickly dump it right after they done with their NFT experience there. So
yeah, so we got Huawei saying cheers all, gotta go. So thank you for contributing today, Huawei. We've got some other comments here that we'll get here in a second. Crypto Buffalo saying all hail the wheel, Kieran saying GG, and Okafor saying hi guys. So nice to see you in the channel. I want to kind of break down the model here as well. I know you kind of gave me the sentiments like there. I think one of the things that, and this announcement comes straight from William Quigley, the co-founder of Wax, and one of the things that he mentioned was ETH being the vault, essentially, and that's something that Yacht Sui, in our conversation with him last week on our interview, he kind of mentioned that as well, where high value NFTs will he believes will always live on the Ethereum blockchain. And that's kind of what I'll try to find it here. But William's kind of saying the same thing in that ETH will be the vault, whereas Wax and a network like that might be the ability, or might give you the ability to just highly transact. So you might, and with this bridge, you can move assets cleanly across, and that hopefully that's the case. I'm gonna try to find that really quickly here. Anything else that you saw from the article before I kind of break into the model itself?
No, I mean, not necessarily, but the main takeaway that I had is just like the fact that it's what you mentioned. It's like a way to bridge ETH and Wax together, and then address the fees, and basically have like you mentioned, having a vault where you don't have to hit the Ethereum blockchain all the time, right? You're trying to slow down that transaction in terms of how many are done on the Ethereum network, so you can utilize networks that have less transaction fees in order to facilitate the transactions that occur on those platforms. For NFTs, it's a huge thing.
Love that. I'm going to take it specifically from the article now. It says, under the new Wax interblockchain tokenomic model, the operational functions of NFTs will be conducted on the Wax blockchain, a chain optimized for that activity, while Ethereum will become the capital vault of the Wax NFT empire. In highlighting Ethereum's strengths in DeFi, I want to emphasize that I am not declaring Ethereum is somehow technically limited to that activity or otherwise unsuited for other commercial purposes. My point is that in a free market, your community ultimately dictates where you go. And right now, the Ethereum community is marching to the drumbeat of DeFi. So good insights from William there. I think he hit the nail right on the head. We'll jump into the token economic model here. Guys, I want to get your thoughts. I know we have a lot of NFT lads here in the channel today. I want to get your thoughts on this situation. So right out the gate, they're talking about the Wax P to Ethereum bridge. So basically a new token is going to be created on the Ethereum network called Wax E, and there's going to be I believe a 1 to 1,000 ratio of transfer from Wax P to Wax E. So I think if you have 1,000 Wax P, when you transfer it into Wax E, you will get 1 Wax E. And I'm assuming that they have to keep that peg, right? Dimitri, how does that work when you create like a token like that, like a Wax E token that now represents 1,000 Wax P tokens?
Yeah, I'm not sure how they're gonna do it, but if it's a peg, then yeah, they have to maintain it.
Okay, sounds good. So we have this Wax E token. Like you said, it's or like they say here, it's going to be a new Ethereum ERC20 that's going to give the ability for, and we'll break it in. They do a great job of explaining it, so we'll get into it in a second. A Wax token holder wanting to participate in the Wax token economics will burn his or her Wax P to receive Wax E and stake the Wax E into a contract. Now, this is a totally new token that has nothing to do with, I don't want to say nothing to do with Wax E, but Wax G is going to be the governance token, which is interesting because a lot of times that's where the value accrual happens in some of these networks. We've seen that multiple times in like stablecoin, projects like Maker itself. So Wax G is going to be a governance token. This token will govern the allocation and distribution of Wax blockchain derived economic value on Ethereum. Governance token will be distributed to Wax E stakers in accordance to a set timetable and in proportion to their staking percentage. So I know that's a lot, guys. I think they do a great job of explaining it right here in their process flow here. So we've got the Wax tokenomic image. I think the main portion to take out here is this bottom row, right? Mm-hmm, You're going to have the ability to burn your Wax P tokens that you have now to acquire Wax E. Staking Wax E in the pool allows you to collect both ETH and WaxG from distribution fees on the network. You can burn that WaxG for ETH from the piggy bank pool. You can use WaxG to vote on governance, and you can convert ETH to WaxE and kind of have that rehypothecation going. So, I think it's huge news, honestly. Like, if you can take, I know that there's fees that come in conjunction with staking on Wax now. Like, I think the miners are obviously getting paid. I need to get into the staking model. I wish Adriana was here, because I know Cypherglass is a guild within that node ecosystem. Want to hear more about what you guys have to think about this model, though. But allowing WaxP holders, I struggle for this, because I don't actually think it's the best part of this is actually allowing the current holders to do things with the token. I think it actually is allowing Ethereum participants to take part in what's happening on Wax. I think that's the bigger play. We saw a project on EOS. God, can't even remember the token ticker. But instead of launching a token on Ethereum or on EOS to start out with, they launched a token on EOS. And that's where the gambling is, man. That's where all the volume is. And they actually benefited from launching their token on Ethereum first and then bridging to EOS. So
yeah, maybe we can get Wax guys on so we can pick their brain a little bit more about this new setup that they're trying to unveil. But you bring up a good point in terms of fees as well. It's like, how much is it going to take for me to stake Waxy? How much is it going to be to unstake and collect ETH and WaxG that I'm getting? So all of that is obviously going to cost, because it's going to be an Ethereum network. So I'm not sure how that's going to come out. Sometimes these things sound very good on paper, but once you put them in practice, then start hitting some bottlenecks. So we'll have to see.
Yeah, it'd be good to have William Quigley. I'll reach out. They've been hitting us up the past couple of weeks, trying to get us to work with a promotion with them. But how we work on Layer 1, man, we want to talk to you guys. This isn't just we're not just going to show you for some NFTs. So I'd love to kind of talk with. I know we had Malcolm on back in the day. That seems like. I'd say that way too much, but that seems like a long time ago. But anyways, yeah, man, this is big news. And I think the WaxG token is obviously going to have some speculation to it as well, being the governance token of Wax. But I think mainly, although it does provide some like fee structures for people who already own WaxP, and allows them to kind of get into another kind of economic system with both having WaxE and the utility that comes from there, but also being able to burn that for WaxG, which is the governance token. It just opens up a different ecosystem that just only occurs on the Wax network right now. It's big news. So we'll see where they go with that. I want to show one more thing here on the screen really quick. At the beginning of the article, they showed actually the latest sales, which I thought was a cool little not interactive, but a little cool image. They have the GPK Series 1, COGS, Tiger King Series, Blockchain Hero Series, and the William Shatner Series. It looks like from the first GPK, which kind of started all this NFT craziness on Wax, to the Shatner Series, it went from 28 hours to sell out all the way down to 9 minutes. And the amount sold ranges from 100K to about 200K. So there have been successful sales on Wax. Obviously, if you've taken part in some of those sales, mechanically they haven't been as successful. But like in aggregate, being able to have these consistent sales, I think the Series 2 did more than 100K. And the secondary market sales alone are good as well. So just big news coming from Wax, man. I think this is a big thing, and we'll look back on it in 6 months and say, look, when they opened their ecosystem up to Ethereum, the Ethereum community, that was a big moment for them.
Yeah, I know. I mean, in general, just you see like NFTs and collectibles are trending more and more now. So if we can capture that market, on the ETH end, then I think that'd be beautiful.
Yeah. What do you think about that question I posed before we get to some of these comments? What do you think about the question I posed about ETH's value accrual when it comes to just the token value in general? When you see Ethereum kind of exploding like it is, I think someone had a good comment. Orlando just said ETH is totally undervalued. Enterprise is piling in. But what do you make of that situation where he's exploding but not seeing much come back into the token?
Yeah, it's interesting. I think it comes down to the same type of environment where we have on BTC, where the market is so sophisticated that when people are piling in, let's say, and buying ETH, there's enough in terms of liquidity to not move the market that much. So yes, demand is picking up and everything's picking up, but we're not going to see the same type of moon we'll see in back in 2017.
What?
Yeah, like I don't want to be the bearer of bad news, but I am the bearer. I we're not going to see that because we have futures, we have derivatives, options. There's so many products available to kind of get that volatility slowed down, right? So as long as the volatility is slowing down, there's enough liquidity to be there. People can move in and out, and if Ethereum is going to be successful in stirring up more demand, then we should see that price action slowly kind of move up, right? Not drastically like what we've seen in the past.
So. Mike Scott saying wait for EIP 1559 and shard optimism. We will see the pump of pumps. So basically saying wait till scaling, I'm guessing, to see if we can see some pump. So all good things, I think. Oh, we're at 44 now, guys. 44, 52 is our all-time high. If we hit 53, you know what's happening. Everybody's getting that a little bit extra of LAD's airdrop there, our social token here at Layer 1. Speaking of social tokens, we spoke with Cooper Turley, and it's actually interesting. After the episode, and I don't want to give too much away, he was basically saying, and he was obviously involved in DeFi and all in the craze. He was like at the heart of that stuff for the most part. He's super bullish on social tokens, and I know that's kind of self-fulfilling, but he's super bullish on social tokens. I think there is something to be said about going further down the rabbit hole, right? When at one point Bitcoin was the rabbit hole, and then Ethereum became the rabbit hole, and then DeFi, and before then ICOs, and then DeFi, and social tokens might be the next rabbit hole where we see kind of outsized returns, not investment advice, because the big boys aren't in. What do you make of that?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely possible. It's a kind of emerging sector. Specifically, actually, we've seen many big players kind of talk about the fact that they're excited for the social tokens that are in relation to community, right? Based tokens. So that's something that's very exciting. Maybe less exciting on the personal level, like where you have tokens attached to a single person, because there's a lot of things that are kind of unknown there. There's experiments that we've seen in the past that have been somewhat successful, but communities have been performing really, really well. And I think that sector is going to continue to be built out because the strength is in the community and the quality of the community. And if you put a token behind it, then it's got ways to go.
Yeah, I want to pull up this forefront market real quick. How long we've been running, Dima?
Not long enough. 77 minutes.
77 minutes. All right, we can do that. One more thing, guys. I want to bring up this forefront market really quick for you guys. I think forefront.news is the actual site, and I might be able to copy paste. Let me see if I can. Oh, Crypto Pickle's in the house. What up, Pickle? All right, so we got forefront market here. This is going to be a really cool place to check out the market caps of the different social tokens. I think at one point you will see CoinGecko add this, as they've done with like DeFi and a couple others with yield farming. They'll have a specific section. But until then, you have forefront market. You can see the different market caps of the different tokens based on, and most of these have the same token economics, right? Most of them have been working with Roll. The same company that we're working with to provide our social token LADs. So all of these have about the same token distribution and total supply. So if you see a different price, that's essentially going to show you the market cap of that token, and they're all very comparable. So interesting. The last point I'll give to you guys is Cooper's been specifically working with a lot of these tokens, Rack, Coin, I believe Kerman, Jam, Alex. He's been at the kind of the heart of a lot of these social tokens. And do you remember what he told us, Dima, about like community size?
Oh yeah. He did mention that the community size that these guys started out with is pretty much at what where we are or lower actually.
Yeah, basically what he said was that, and we kind of were talking with him. We were saying kind of, hey, this is how big the lads are. They've been awesome, and this is the situation. What is the comparison between what we have at lads going on now and what you see with the other social tokens that you're working with? And he said in some cases the community was significantly smaller than what we had with lads of tokens that were already on this forefront market list. So a lot of cool things happening. It was cool to see Cooper talk about that. He's 1,000% bullish on social tokens, so kind of talking with him got me all hyped up. But
yeah, that was a fun conversation.
100%. So that'll be dropping on Wednesday. He's working with Audius now. They're working on social tokens for streamers, I believe, audio streaming.
Yep.
So, all right, guys. I know that was kind of a tangent a little bit. Looks like we're gonna hit EOS for a second. I'm gonna hit basically some quick news on EOS. That being that they launched on AtomicHub. Not much there, but there was free NFTs to be given. Shout out to Scott for pointing that out. And then we have kind of an EOS in review. I'm not going to get down the rabbit hole at all. I want to see more development happening on EOS from like a developer community perspective. I think there's a lot of cool shit that's happening with EOS. I like what's happening with voice, but I'm not going to harp on it more than I am now. I need to see more development from the community and just encouraging people to be building on EOS. I know that's super broad and that there's no specifics, but we just need more. More needs to be happening there. But based on this EOS review, let me take you guys through that. And Pickle can give us some updates too. I know he's super close to the EOS ecosystem. He actually has a Wax podcast.
Oh.
Yeah. You want to hear the branding? It's earwax.
That's funny.
Yeah. So guys, EOS Writer is somebody that we follow very closely as far as EOS is concerned, and they kind of wrote their weekend review here, which we'll touch on. Another shout out here, Ronan started his work with Crypto Writer, and he's doing NFTs. So EOS Writer is I guess an arm of Crypto Writer, and they have their hands in like many different networks, almost in the same fashion as Layer1. But Ronan's starting his stuff today, actually, or this week on NFT Writer. So that should be fun stuff. All right, so just a quick rundown. EOS Writer's talking about EOS DeFi and them being second only to Ethereum in total transactions. We had the total value locked here on DeFi Box, kind of going almost to about 30 million EOS, which I believe the dollar amount would then be, 90 mil? Somewhere in that vicinity, a little bit less. Based on EOS token price, yeah, definitely a little bit less. We have some Voice HQ stuff going on. Talking about the EOS resource proposal. Prospectors came out with a new version of their game. I think there was a Wax shout out here. So I'm gonna link this article so that you guys could take a look. But there's definitely some things going on EOS right now. I like that they had launched that AtomicHub piece, which we'll touch on here in a second. And they're continuing to push out some of these development series, it looks like. And obviously the transactions are a big piece. And I think with that rise in some of these chains other than Ethereum, EOS kind of partook in that a little bit, and you see that increase in transaction volume that we saw there. So
yeah, I wonder how DeFi Box is doing. I know there's a lot of chat about it, and some of the lads were talking about it. I think Suhail was kind of involved in that. But the idea of DeFi Box is pretty great. Just wondering how much liquidity is available after we've discussed it, like feels like weeks ago.
Yeah, I'm interested to see if any lads here in the chat took part in any of the DAD farming. So DApp account, Liquid Apps, I guess has a governance token now, and that was being farmed by individuals. Now I didn't get in, and I should have, but we just haven't had enough time. Not being EOS in general, to be honest. But it looked like there was some initial farming going on with that DAD token, and now since then the yield has gone significantly down with more people getting in. So definitely some interesting times on EOS. I'd love to get more insight from the EOS lads. Yeah, it looks like Brandon's farming DAD as well. If you can give us an update on DAD in like a 1 or 2 sentence, that would be awesome from anyone that's doing so. Guys, we got 40 in the chat now. 52 is our high. If we can beat that before the end of the episode, everybody's getting lads. Come on, guys. Turn on your second monitor. It's time. It's time. We're close. Let's try to beat it. So the last bit here, it looks like the DApp Radar shows a 452% increase in EOS transaction volume compared to Q4 or Q3 of 2019. So good stuff there. AtomicHub launched an EOS portal, so it looks like you can take part in AtomicHub and the NFT marketplace there via Scatter or via the other wallets that are on EOS. The volume doesn't look strong, so it's something that's going to be built up over time, it looks like. But I know Scott was telling us that there were like some free NFTs based on this launch. And then it looks, it's right here. Another 369 exclusive NFTs from Uplift. So it looks like the volume, again, isn't that strong. I think 10/3, October 3rd, at $45 of volume. So this is something that hopefully will evolve over time, guys, as it comes. But it's good to see an integration. AtomicHub is definitely a good spot for Wax Marketplace goings on, and to see it kind of be released on EOS and be able to interact with it on the EOS blockchain is it's a good addition.
Awesome. Yeah, that sounds interesting. Just to kind of talk about that DeFi box. So looking at their website right now, the total liquidity as far as the US dollars go, it's about 20 million right now, compared to the good old Uniswap, which is sitting at 2.5 billion. So, it's still kind of a slow start there. But, we'll see how DeFi box is going to obviously perform, as it continues to, kind of grind out their features and try to acquire more users. But it seems like, other platforms have more liquidity, and the more liquidity you have, the more your traders will attract, because if you can't trade, without slippage, it's going to be tough,
Mm-hmm.
So
it was, I guess, like at the end of the euphoria that was Ethereum DeFi, EOS and Binance started to have some mining farms pop up, some pools pop up. That was interesting, because what you saw was the ability to DeFi farm without all these massive transaction fees. But yeah, we'll see how it goes. I like Wax. I like Wax's model where they're trying to bridge to EOS. I know DApp's trying to do that as well. So there's a bunch of cool things happening on EOS right now. It just needs time, and I'm not going to harp on block one at all, because we've talked about that multiple times, but it just needs more time, and it needs more marketing. It needs, I think it's going in a good direction. Let's just leave it there. I think EOS is going in the right direction, whereas there's a lot of other blockchains that are simply not doing so. And
I agree. So it looks like that's a wrap for EOS. And are we ready to get into some DeFi fun stuff?
We are getting ready to do some DeFi stuff, but you know who didn't answer?
Who?
The guy, Chris.
Oh no, Chris,
I'm gonna give you one last shot. You got 30 seconds to answer. If you don't answer in 30 seconds, we're gonna run that wheel of names again, and someone else is gonna, and we'll just keep running until someone gets it. Basically.
Until I win.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So, all right. So let's hop into some DeFi stuff. If you want to move that arrow. So the first piece of news is from DeFi space is basically the fact that it's about AAVE. It's about the token Lend migrating to AAVE token. So they're fully moving away, from Lend branding. If you guys remember back in the day, AAVE used to be Lend. And now they're fully migrating with their token. It's now, if you hold Lend as a token, you can go to their website and participate in the swap. It's interesting stuff. Like, so for the migration that's happening, there's also a specific kind of vault that's being set up in order to it's called safety module. So the safety module that's being introduced here on AAVE is basically a way for you to earn by staking AAVE, this new token, onto the platform, and basically get APR from that. Now, the safety module is actually designed as insurance fund, basically. So if, for some reason there's a black swan event or something happens in the market, and AAVE in terms of the platform is not able to fulfill the obligations in terms of margin calls and all these things that we know are part of borrowing and lending, then the safety module is going to be that basically war chest that they can use in order to cover some of the shortcomings that can occur due to market risk. So it's a good way for them to build out the war chest and reduce the counterparty risk when you're operating with these platforms, and set up basically a way for people to lock in their AAVE and provide that kind of insurance there in case it doesn't happen.
Yeah, Mike Scott's asking, is it related to Nexus Mutual? Does this have any functionality with?
No, yeah, it's not related to Nexus Mutual. It's a good question. And overall, you've actually seen, which is interesting that Mike Scott brings this up, because we've seen so many insurance companies are popping up now. And Nexus Mutual is one of them. There's a couple others that I saw ended up securing funding as well. So it seems like right now, given where we are, the market is realizing that the overall counterparty risk is rising, right? So when the counterparty risk is rising, well, how do you offset that, right? You can offset that by third-party insurance companies or in-house, some kind of a war chest vault, So it's like, hey, listen, these assets are backed by, these people that have it staked and so on, right? So I think that's the overall industry is seeing that, and that's what's happening. Let me see if I can find the company insurance, high-tech insurance. Ensure.network raised 1.45 million in the seed and private funding this week. So that's another one that's that's going to be insurance and providing basically the ability for some of these platforms to offset their counterparty risk. So with AAVE, it's attracting people to stake this AAVE token after the migration from Lend. And then when you stake it, you obviously earn a pretty significant APY, which essentially is going to, probably move lower after this, a significant amount of people that are staking. There's also important thing to keep in mind with this vault is that, or this safety, what they call a safety module, is that once you stake it, there is a cooling period before you can actually unstake it. So, in a case where it's like, can you imagine if there's like a black swan event, right? Or something happens where the market moves quickly and suddenly you have the funds in safety module and you're like, oh, listen, you know what? I'm not going to provide insurance for this platform anymore. I'm out. You can't do that, right? So there's, I believe it's 7-day period. Let me take a look here. There is a cooldown period. 10 days. Wow. So 10 days. Your tokens are going to be locked in this module for 10 days. So this way they can, operate knowing that, hey, listen, people can't, in case an event like that happens, they can't pull the funds. And therefore, it's going to be used in whatever it was intended to do. So that's just an update for as far as AAVE goes. Obviously, these guys have been killing it. They've been doing really well. If we take a look at DeFi polls, let me see if they... AAVE's got
I can pull that up as well.
Yeah, almost 1.2 billion locked. So pretty big amount. Definitely.
Yeah, looking at that now. So we've got Uniswap with 2.3, Maker 1.8, Curve 1. I can't believe Curve is still a thing, man. Like we're about to look at percentage down from all time high. Anyone who even remotely got in like from a spot position and like at that. I know people were obviously farming in and things like that, but there were definitely a lot of people here, interested in just like buying and flipping the token, and 93% down.
Yeah, it's crazy. And that's something we'll talk about here in just a second in terms of like how much of a drop off we've seen in some of these governance tokens and what we've seen in terms of revenue change for these companies. It's like, some of them don't make sense, right? And which is interesting because like it gives an opportunity for people to find these gems where it's like you see the platform overall growing, but you see overall a contraction in the price of the token, which when the sectors overall hit in general, when you have the whole basket of these DeFi tokens dropping, then some of the effects have trickled down to the platforms that are successful, and they're seeing the price drop in their token, which it makes them undervalued.
100%.
So which is pretty good.
Well, let's I know you want to get to that, and then we do have that on the schedule, guys. We're going to touch DeFi for a remainder here, as well as NFTs. We have I believe we hit 43. We hit like 44, I believe. We need, that 8-9 more to get in here so that we can hit all-time highs. We've hit all-time highs every single week.
Yeah, can't break this streak. Come on, guys.
Come on, get your friends in here. Share it on Twitter, guys. It really does help us out, and make sure to like the video as well. So I'm going to click the spin here. Chris never showed up, so we're going to check it out.
Let's do it.
Phasia.
Ooh.
Phasia got the dub. All right, if Phasia's in the chat, please let us know. Otherwise, we're going to roll that guy again. So it looks like Yax is pumping off that announcement of the MetaVault. I'm looking at it right now. I've been tracking it, making sure that I know how wrecked I was for selling too soon. So let's see. P-Knuckles saying, YFI always claimed they wanted it to be a worthless token. Maybe this is progress. Janny saw a tweet that actually a lot of the value in CRV is from Yearn financing.
Yeah.
There was an issue with that, and whether Yearn can move away from that Curve token. I believe that was the situation, like diversifying away from Curve because of the situation with the token. So
yeah, I mean, like, just fundamentally, if you realize like the beauty of the Curve platform, the reason why it's so powerful is because they use stable coins, right? And that is their thing. That's what makes them separate, from others, and gives them that advantage. And they've been successful in that, because if you're looking to farm, right, let's say tokens or just collect APY, but you don't want to be exposed to the token volatility, well, you can just do it with stable coins, and that's the beauty of Curve. But obviously, that's not reflected in the price of it, because you have a lot of people that farmed it and dumping it.
Guys, Phasia's not. I don't see a message from Phasia. So I think what we're going to do is have Dimitri move on to this next point. We'll run the wheel again after this, which we've touched on here, which is the valuation comparative to kind of the fundamentals of what's going on with these DeFi networks and different total value locked. Let's touch on that, and then we'll run it again since Phasia's not here.
Yeah. So, looking at that valuation versus price, there's an interesting article on Cointelegraph where they actually break this down. I think the info actually comes from, I believe it came from like Masari. But overall, it's interesting. So it shows total analyzed revenue, and then revenue change in the last 30 days. And you can see some interesting stuff, like, for example, Curve that we just talked about, or their revenue change in the last 30 days is almost 200% up. And it's about like $21 million, while the token price is 82% down. There's others as well, like, for example, you can see synthetics, right? That's overall down 36% in the last 30 days, and the revenue change is up 24% and 9 million total revenue. So basically, this is the period when we have overall the rates drop, right? People rebalance their portfolios. A lot of the tokens get dumped. But in general, if you look at total locked value and the amount of transactions that have been done on the platform to give us the total analyzed revenue and revenue changes, you can find players that have been, performing really well in terms of stats, right? Like, for example, look at market MakerDAO, right? It's like, revenue change in the last 30 days is 449%, but the token price is down 24% in the last 30 days. What I'm trying to explain here is that in the market condition where this sector is contracting, which is, it needs to just to cool off a little bit, you have tokens that are being impacted due to the overall sector deleveraging, right? So, for example, some company that's, a platform that's doing relatively well, they're being impacted by the overall scale down out of DeFi. Now, when things stabilize and normalize, those that have came down a lot and not fairly valued, those are the ones that are going to rally quite a bit. And that's the reason why, we look at these, kind of statistics to give us kind of an idea how much of growth has each kind of project and platform has seen in the last 30 days. What's the revenue and what is the overall token impact? So we can identify maybe perhaps their token got, got destroyed basically too much, right? So, so I found that interesting. Just wanted to share with you guys. Even though there's a lot of FUD in terms of DeFi being down 50% from all-time highs, hey, that's just, we've seen DeFi grow so fast. Having, a little bit of a step back here, and 50% is a little bit of a step back in our industry, given like the sectors that grow like, 10x in a week,
Yep.
So I think it's overall healthy. And I think in general, a lot of opportunities will emerge for the guys that are looking for value, right? Looking for the platforms that continuously have more transaction, more users, more liquidity, more, value locked on their platform, and seeing there is that not being reflected in the price of the token, can present some interesting opportunities in terms of picking it up at a cheaper levels and holding it for a longer, period of time. Longer than a week,
100%.
So
yeah, I have Yaks pulled up here again, guys. I was in this earlier. I got into it last night. I sold out of this before we went live here, somewhere in like the 640 range, and because you kind of saw it kind of retracing there a little bit. But I only pull this up, Dima, because I think to your point, there is some appetite still for some of these DeFi projects. Like, it's not a complete wash where you're just seeing no growth or no risk appetite into some other projects. Y-axis is another like Wi-Fi type protocol that's offering some good percentage yield right now. I think it's in the vicinity of like 800, 900%. I'll see if I can pull that up. But yeah, there's still appetite there. So we'll see exactly what goes on with the timeline there. But it seems like it's kind of stabilized a little bit for just for the current moment, at least.
Yeah, we'll see what's gonna happen. Obviously, that one is looking at bad. But if you look at a Wi-Fi, for example, I've talked about it on Dimitri's desk. That thing looks like it's kind of ready to move lower as well, because you gotta realize with these platforms that are designed to chase the APY, right? So from what I understand, these tokens give you access to the system that basically navigates you to the best APY at all times, so you can capture that and so on, right? But if we have overall in general in DeFi APY rates are going lower, there's going to be less demand for the platforms that will chase the APY, because the APY is coming down, right? So there's going to be a cooling in a demand for these platforms that chase the APY, because there's less APY to be chased, right? And when that happens, because the reason why this whole thing worked is because you have high APY that will pay for the risk that you're exposing yourself to by holding these tokens. Now, if the APY is lower, that means that you're risking still in terms of volatility of that token, but the APY is paying less, so it's not proportional in that sense. So you're overexposed on one end, basically, as the rates come down, and therefore we're getting some of these corrections here on like platforms like YFI and so on. Obviously, with the new ones coming out, you can they're probably going to take the stage, because everybody wants to be first and new, and kind of go through that process. We'll see where that token is going to be here in a week, but there's still going to be those that come out, and you'll hear stories that pump quite a bit, but then the key is what's going to happen, after like a week or so. We'll see.
Yeah, I'm going to pull up Wiren here, the token Wi-Fi, to see what happened over the past, 14 days, probably not even, probably like 7. So from September, well, let's go back to September 12th. I think it reached a high of 43,000. And now it's settled. I believe it's settled in the vicinity of like 19,000. It did have like a little peak on September 27th of 32. So from 32 over the past, I would say 7 days, it's gone from 32 all the way down to about 16. I think it bottomed out at. So some of this has to do, and I know that it's super weird and it made its rounds, But Blue Kirby, do you know who Blue Kirby is? Have you seen Blue Kirby?
Like an animal or?
Blue Kirby Wi-Fi was this influencer, like basically I don't want to call, he was on par, at least within this community, of Entre, essentially. I wouldn't call him on par. He was the second tier. But Blue Kirby was really pushing this movement, and it sounds so weird to say, but he basically came out in this past 7 days. Let me see when this tweet was sent. October 4th? Yesterday. He said, yes, as of now, I'm officially out of everything Wi-Fi and urine related. I left all Telegram channels. It's possible I pull Steve Jobs and return 12 years. In crypto time, that's like a week, but I'm out for now. Gonna do some blue stuff. It's hard to kind of break down what this guy meant to that community if you weren't like actively following it. But Blue Kirby was like officially, like Peanut was saying, he was like the hype man of Wi-Fi. It's weird to sit here and talk about it, but we're sitting here and talking about yams and sushi all day. So in Alameda, talking about sushi chefs. So the fact that a guy like Blue Kirby can be as influential in these large ass markets where there's like hundreds of millions of dollars, it's not that far out of realm to have this discussion. But essentially, what went along with this dump, to get to my point, what went along with this dump is that Kirby kind of, or Blue Kirby, actually kind of capitulated, and there was this like FUD around him kind of dumping his bags, and then you had a tweet that said, yeah, I'm officially out of Wi-Fi. So
yeah, I think, and just in general, like a lot of these influencers and guys that got in early, they're probably going to scale out of these and take a break, right? So it's like, as the market takes a break, everybody takes a break, and it's okay to just hop out of it, enjoy some time outside, clear your head while the market is in chop, consolidating and so on, and then re-engage once the market picks up back up, right? There's no need to be always in a single position, and kind of shill that all the time, So I think everybody's taking a step back. I've seen a lot of traders as well on Twitter, that have been active in terms of trading and so on. They're taking, hey, listen, I'm taking a step back, taking some time off, and waiting for things to kind of return. They've made, pretty good money from the run up.
Yeah, it's an interesting timeline over the past 7 days where me and you were actually having discussions about being tired of like the whole thing that's happened over September and a little bit of late August, and then talking with a bunch of people. Like we talked with Cooper, and Cooper was like, you know what, like I'm taking a break. He wants to focus on something more sustainable after what we saw with all the different hyped farm fresh tokens, basically.
September was lit.
Yes, absolutely. So the last bit I'll touch on with this Blue Kirby situation, it looks like there's like an anon in like Dox situation where I guess people obviously found his token address, his public address, and it looks like he did sell, and it's like being confirmed by his Twitter. One of the people that was quoting him said, "Let me get this straight. People are freaking out at Blue Kirby for selling 0.08 3% of the supply of Wi-Fi from his public ENS so he can rebuy in a different, not doxed address." So it looks like there's a situation, and he goes on to continue. Like I can link the tweet now for you, those of you that want to follow along. But it looks like he had a situation where he didn't want to be, doxed at it, and he wanted to kind of like interact with people who he made friends with over the past month. I don't know. He wants to have a real life. This was a kind of a weird saga with Blue Kirby, and it kind of mixed in a little bit of Wi-Fi. So
did this guy just become famous because of Wi-Fi?
Yep.
Yeah, I just did some quick math. The guy, if probably like got like maybe 60 million out of it, something like that. So it's like, hey, yeah, you don't want when you getting out so much, you want to be protective, right? Don't want to get doxxed. You don't want to, maybe who knows where that guy is, right? What if he's in some third world place, like, right, where it's like you can get robbed, all that stuff. So
yes,
never know.
Yeah, it looked like there was a bit of a civil war there within that community. It's interesting to see. Obviously, we didn't unfortunately hold any Wi-Fi for that run, so we weren't really in that community. But I'm sure there's a lot of people that would love to, hear about it. So that's why
I think a lot of people, like, it's important to understand that a lot of people are quick in terms of determining, like, listen, oh yeah, he dumped, that's it, he's out, this thing is not going to go higher. No, it's not really the case. Like, if the guy, got in and he's sitting on a $60 million position now, right? Like he's okay with cashing out because he already made a lot of money. It doesn't mean that the project is like, it's done running up, right? So everybody's kind of quick in terms of judging, right? But what would you do, right? What would you do, right? It's like, you sitting on this position that's 60 million, you're exposing a single asset. Like you don't have to be a genius to realize that you can't be just exposed to this asset the whole time. Like, can you imagine sitting on it and then let's say that 60 million goes to like 1 million? Like, like,
I mean, yeah, we can kind of, we were part of that 2017 run up, so I kind of feel that. So yeah, 100%, man. Interesting saga. We wanted to bring you that. It's always, DeFi's always got some crazy ass story to talk about. So I ran the wheel on accident. I'm not sure. I literally cut it off. Yeah, it's all rigged. All right, so this is what we're doing. I'm gonna bring it on the screen. We're gonna have that second one.
We could do another keyword just to find out who's here participating live.
Okay, let's do it. It's Dimitri's event. Let's see it. What do we got?
Let's just do Go Lads.
All right, you guys heard it here first. Typing hashtag Go Lads on the actual chat right there in the bottom corner, and then you'll be entered to win this whitelist key for Dark Forest, which is a pretty interesting game that we came upon in the past couple days. So hashtag Go Lads, we'll enter you into the wheel names, and then we'll let that go because we already tried to get a couple winners, and they weren't here. So
we'll see truly how many bots are watching our stream.
100%. Thanks for doing this, by the way, because now I have to enter them all again. So
well, it's a manual process.
Yeah, what the heck? What do you think it was?
I thought it automatically pulls it. Man, this is 21st century. This is crypto, cutting edge technology.
Well, maybe you can handle it next time and maybe make it automated. All right, guys, we're gonna. Oh, Chris, come on, man. Oh, dude. Chris, you won earlier, man.
He wants to win again.
He put it twice. That's how bad he wants to win. Chris, we can't, in fair judgment, say that you're getting this. So maybe hopefully you win again. Listen, hashtag Go Lads. We'll do it in the next 30 seconds and we'll move on. I guess the last bit of DeFi news, guys, and a crazy news that would have made like breaking, highlight, everything. Eminence. So Andre was working on this project, this like under the radar project called Eminence, and it had a token related to it. I need to get it. Ticker EMN. So I guess this was the situation. This project was being worked on in development, or what do they call it? Live production. What am I thinking of? Why did it test in production or something like that? So this is a live project. The contracts were not going to be, audited by any means.
That's normal.
Yeah, exactly. And Andre is DeFi Jesus. Everyone, he literally has his followers. And so when they saw him working, and I guess he retweeted something from the Eminence team, and it was going to be this like DeFi like actual game. It was like a DeFi related game. Andre was working on all the you're checking all the boxes.
All the OGs,
like,
yeah.
I'm jumping in with with
yeah,
2
shut up and
Gs.
take my money.
Yeah, exactly. Well, it got rug pulled. Looks like $15 million was lost, and Andre had to come out and actually say, so it looked like an NFT game called Eminence. But Andre had to come out and literally say, kind of, we fucked up, and he lost a little clout on this one, although not enough clout to hurt him by any means. Let me see if I can't get it to. The hacker has graciously sent half of the funds, totaling $8 million, back to the yearned deployer address. Used to partially reimburse. Thank God that hacker.
The hackers nowadays are becoming, like philanthropists. It's like donating the funds that they stole back. It's so nice.
Yep, exactly. So, thank God for this hacker who stole 15 and gave 8 back. But it looks like this is your classic rug pull. So the token contract was not audited, and he was able to flash crash the damn thing via an exploit. It looks like from SBF here. I think he summarizes it well. He said Andre was working on a new protocol. It was still in testing phase, not ready to be released. He hadn't vetted it yet, and there was an exploit. So, I mean, an NFT game put on by Andre, it sounds like a great idea. As long as the audited contracts are there and all that stuff. I'm still looking at Eminence. Obviously, they'll launch a whole nother token, I'm guessing, or have some type of hard fork. But that's the situation. A huge story that kind of went under the radar this past week.
Yeah, absolutely. I think we talked about it a couple of weeks back about it. But it's crazy. Stuff like this obviously puts a dark cloud over DeFi, and it's like when you have the whole sector is kind of taking a step back and cooling, and then you have something like this happen, and everybody's like, all right, you know what? I'm gonna sit this one out, and wait until the smart contract gets audited, goes through a little bit of some testing, because at the end of the day, when these new projects come out, everybody continues to rush into it quicker and quicker to be the first one, and there's less due diligence done. You come to the point where it's like, hey man, I bought this thing, let me find out what it actually does.
100%.
Instead of like, what is this thing, what does it do, what's the auditing, and then all right, I'm gonna buy it. No, right? We got to the point where everybody's just like buying it, whatever, because everything was going up. So, and that's obviously we're gonna see like stuff like this happen. And I mean, again, it goes back to like that thing that we discussed last time, where it's like all these influencers, that have a following, they have a responsibility, right? And when they mess up, the community is basically firing back and saying, hey, listen, like, what the hell, So it's kind of keeping these influencers on their toes, right? To watch what they say, watch what they do, because it's like, hey, listen, if you're gonna screw over the community, then we're gonna be out.
Yeah, it's interesting to see Andre get caught up in this, because again, he was kind of that untouchable, and I'd hesitate to call him an influencer, although he is one. He holds many hats. He holds many hats. So we'll see where that goes from there. Certainly, we'll keep tabs on Eminence. All right, guys, we're gonna run this. Let's see. Good luck, Chris.
I hope Chris wins.
I hope Chris wins too. Oh my coins! Wow, the last second entry. All right, hold on, guys. Hold on. I was literally about to press it. If he wins, that's some.
That'd be funny.
That's some amazing timing. All right, here we go. Oh, my coins got added. All right, guys, I'm clicking to spin. Oh my goodness. P-Knuckle almost got it. He was completely edged out by Nobby. So congrats to Nobby. You guys are about to see that here in a second. Looks like Nobby C is going to be getting this white list. I don't know if anybody even knows what they're actually getting. I feel like half the people don't know what Dark Forest is.
Well, that's you get it and then you find out what it is.
True. So it looks like yeah.
Go Chris.
P-Knuckle got absolutely wrecked on that one. So unfortunate. Nobby with the dab. Love it. All right. Well, Nobby, after this, I guess reach out via Telegram. Nobby, if you're not in our Telegram group, you actually have to get in there. So the description below us, right down there, has t.me/join layer1. You have to get in there, and Brandon will get you in the Ladge chat, and then I can get you the actual whitelist. He says nope, he doesn't know what Dark Forest is. Fun times.
No, I think he was replying to the Telegram.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right. So NFTs, guys. You wanna hop into NFTs real quick? We have some token news. And we touched on this a little bit on NFT Live, but we had that coin farming go live. So coin is going to be attached to that Neon District game. I haven't given Neon District a play at all, but it looks like they're adding some gamification with their token. You're going to be able to stake the coin token, the social token coin, which keep an eye out, guys. You might see this in the future on Layer 1, who knows?
Hint.
We see this coin be staked to earn in-game tokens cred. And what you can do with cred is buy different in-game items. So again, I'll put it out here. Coin is a social token that ties to Marguerite and her work for Blockade Games. As CEO of the company, she's the brainchild behind projects like MetaBoss and the upcoming cyberpunk role-playing game Neon District. coin will also tie into the lore of Neon District itself. So she's doing a lot of cool things with her social token. Obviously, the liquidity mining is going to be important for the lifeblood of any social token. Hint, hint. And we will continuously be following coin as she goes forward. Listen, the only thing that I have a problem with is that I've heard about Neon District for like 3 years. So it's in the same realm of like a couple of these different projects for me where it's like, okay,
it's coming.
It's like ETH 2.0. Like that's the only issue. But I think what she's doing, what Marguerite's doing over with coin and being able to kind of get cred is important. I think they're doing puzzles again, which me and you talked about. We're not that interested in. So yeah, man, I want to see more, but I like what they're doing. Coin's definitely one to keep in touch of. Cooper was talking a little bit about coin on the interview. So we'll definitely keep track. You got anything there?
No, I mean, you pretty much covered it all. I was going to ask you just in general about NFTs here. Mm-hmm. I've seen, I don't know what it is, but I've seen there's more people now collecting Pokemon cards. What's up with that?
That was weird.
Is it coming back? Like, what is going on there? Like, I've seen like actually streams where people opening up packs and they're talking about how these like cards cost like one card costs like $800, and I was like, bro, like, are we moving back to paper cards? Like, you guys know about NFTs? Like, what's going on?
What's crazy about that too is the company behind Pokemon. What is the company behind Pokemon? The company behind Pokemon is not receiving any of the fees associated with those trades. Guess where they would be? Guess where they would be? If there's digital NFTs of Pokemon cards, they receive a 6% cut on every secondary market trade. You don't think that's a pitch that you can make to them? They're seeing all this stuff come back, and they're like, we're not seeing a damn dime of this.
Wow, how sad.
When we do get that, that's going to be huge. I think that's one of the reasons I saw Dark Forest and I like Dark Forest because you have that ability to have an MMO based blockchain game, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like this will always be there. You can add it to an interoperable inventory. So I might be able to take some of the stuff in Dark Forest eventually. You said it was shitty now, which I'm not saying it's shitty, but it's not built out. But eventually you might be able to take some Dark Forest items or assets or worlds and put them into the sandbox or
that would be crazy.
Well, that's the future.
Yeah.
So, we'll see what happens. But yeah, good. So I don't know. To answer your question though, I don't know about this Pokemon trading card phase. I mean, things come and go. I don't know why. I don't know why it just popped up.
It's hold on. The Pokemon Company International is a subsidiary of Pokemon Company in Japan.
Oh, so it's like Pokemon is the company. Okay.
Yeah.
Got it.
Wow.
Well, who knows? Well, maybe we'll see some Pokemon here on the blockchain shortly. I know some companies were trying to like copy that, but until you build out that universe, it's tough to do. So yeah. Anything else? NFT? Shoot me some questions, man. I want to be.
Yeah, no, man. Questions. I was wondering if you collecting, some Pokemon cards in the back there, hiding under your bed there,
No.
And then boom, he comes out and he has like packs of like worth millions of dollars.
That's the only one right there, dude.
There you go.
Only crypto collectible I have up to this point. The big brand discussion is something we had with Yatsui. Guys, if you want to know about NFTs, Yatsui's the guy. See our latest interview with him. The big brand discussion is interesting. He talked, and I can't speak to in any type of professional sense about IPs and big brand IPs, but I guess the nature of IPs and being able to recycle the sale of them over like a 4 or 5 year period is important to big brands. So like having a blockchain based item that's digital and also is not able to be like expired is a problem for big brands. Do you kind of get my float?
Yeah, that makes sense. I can see that.
Yeah, but I think the fees, to which I responded, I was like, the fees structure setup might it might it might step in and be the issue, the problem solver there.
Yeah.
So
that makes sense.
Yeah. Ronan saying, I heard NFTs. Yeah, Mike Scott said, LOL, new bubble. Looks like, Orlando saying, someone says NFTs, you got my attention. Yeah, a bunch of NFT enthusiasts in lads these days. All right, we've got MetaFactory, which is kind of an arm of the Metacartel and Metacartel DAO. Metacartel is an interesting group, man. I if you don't know about Metacartel, I don't know how you would is essentially like give a summary of these guys, but they're basically like a Web3 gang. You know what I'm saying? Like they're creating all these really cool Web3 based, Ethereum based companies, and they all have like different use cases, and they kind of all get together at meetups and stuff like that in kind of the same vein as Layer 1 a little bit. But so we've got MetaFactory here. MetaFactory is going to be creating brands. So digiphysical goods, as you can see here, they have their gear here. So that's one limited edition jacket. They're doing some interesting things with that and token ownership. So basically what you could do if you did buy into a certain brand, for example, like if you had this jacket here, not only did you get like the NFT item associated with it, but you were able to then get, like we're talking about, secondary sales of the jacket. So let's say you were one of the first 10 members to buy this exclusive jacket. If they went on and did another series of these jackets, you would get a portion of the sales. Wow. So there were some interesting things going there with merchandise, I think, for a little while. It looks like they're launching, though, their MetaFactory DAO, and the token's going to be Robot. So we talk some crazy ass shit on Layer1Live. So it isn't it isn't out of the realm of us to talk about this. But it looks like they are launching their DAO. The token is Robot. The DAO the token gives you access to voting on different products that they can launch. I'll see if I can find the actual image. Introducing Robot, fair launch. They're distributing it to people who have already bought some of their items to start with, and those that are participating in governance. Let me see if I can't find that. So distributed to past and future buyers. It looks like based on buyers, proportional dollars spent on MetaFactory products, designers, proportional revenue generated by their products, and then some governance. And you can kind of see some stuff there. If you want to go to the actual link, the link is in the description. Interesting stuff, though. I like digiphysical goods. I like the idea of tokenizing membership to where if you have additional sales in a series, you can get access to revenue. I don't know how that works out as far as being a security or what that does, but interesting stuff, man. I like MetaFactory. I should have bought one of these initial series. That would have been cool. But I also had Cooper Turley kind of showcasing the drip. Let's see if I can't find that. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, I was gonna say that sounds pretty interesting. Jenny mentioned 420K LOL.
I didn't notice that.
Yeah. But I was actually, I was involved in the NBA Top Shot experience, and time to time I go there to check out, how much stuff I've sold. And I was actually, surprised I've sold, a moment for $200. That was great.
Damn.
Yeah. So
he's a whale.
Yeah. So, but also they're having some packs that are dropping on Monday. Nice. At 5 p.m. PDT, October 5th. Today. Wait, what? What time is it? PDT.
He's already missing it. Definitely over time by now.
Oh no, it's actually dropping in. Basically get in, and you can see what you're gonna get and sell it on the marketplace. But NBA Top Shot. And yeah, let me know if you guys don't have access to it. I think I still have referrals available here. They can give you access to NBA Top Shot. But it's been interesting. Obviously, the one thing though with the Dapper there and Top Shot is that it's still in beta, so you technically can't withdraw the funds just yet. For whatever you sell, you can't move. It's going to be in your Dapper wallet. But just keep that in mind. But overall, yeah, it's interesting. It looks like there's people buying and selling, right? Somebody bought my $200 moment, right? Now they're selling it for like 10,000. I hope they don't sell it.
Flow, we didn't have the information here, but Flow is doing some good things on CoinList. They're doing their ICO like auction on CoinList. Just transparency, like we own Flow. I know I do own Flow tokens. I don't know if you got in on that deal, but Flow is going to be amazing. There's so many different things that they're going to be able to do from an NFT standpoint, from mainstream. I know they partner with AtomicHub brands. I mean, Flow is going to be a monster. So it'll be interesting to see where they go from here. Top Shot being one of their main ones.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I got Six Dragons here getting a PlayStation license. So this is a blockchain gaming studio that got a license with PlayStation. So the holy grail, like it says, of getting access to a console game from a blockchain perspective isn't that far away. We've seen Atari kind of push that out. Other than that, that's pretty much the story. We'll see what they do with that PlayStation license, if they can get a blockchain game on the PlayStation Store. Who knows how that works with... I know we've seen some issues with like the Apple Store in cryptocurrency games, and it's just a whole nother animal. So we'll see where console gaming goes.
I wonder if there's going to be some kind of a hoarding, right, left of these licenses. So like, let's say a company just buys them and then just sits on them, wait until, let's say, somebody's ready to make a game, and then they'll use that. And so maybe the company that bought it doesn't want to make the game, right? Maybe they're just sitting on it and waiting to see whoever wants the game, make the game. Then, hey, listen, I got the license, so hit me up, type of deal. That could be something like that.
Some
too.
copyright squatting going on.
Yeah.
A little bit. Interesting, man. I like that take. All right, guys, that's pretty much it for today. I mean, we almost ran, let's see,
2 hours.
Yep, about 2 hours. So we appreciate you guys all the way till the end. We had 38. We didn't hit all-time high today. Play taps.
Yeah, I know.
Where's Gall when you need him?
Yeah. You're forever going to bring that back.
So, guys, again, Layer1Live, we're coming at you each week. Nabi, we'll get to you about the Dark Forest giveaway there, the whitelist, and appreciate the team actually for getting me those whitelist not tokens, but addresses. Yeah, guys, huge week for Lads. It's going to be a huge month for Lads. We've said this many times. Our early contributors, we want to see you guys be really successful in one way or another. We are really proud of the community that we've kind of grown here. Cooper Turley was saying that's our community is one of the bigger communities in social tokens. So the sky is the limit. I mean, we have this conversation with the team all the time, but the sky is the limit with Lads and our Lads token as well. I mean, that's a community token. It's a utility token. We cannot wait to show you guys what's happening. So game night this week as well. We've got the Lads token AMA on Wednesday. So Wednesday is going to be that AMA session. Likely somewhere in the middle of the day, we'll get an update to you guys. And then that game night's going to be late night on Thursday again. We'll see what game we want to play. I don't know. Throw it in the channel, guys. What do you guys want to play next? Yeah. We might do Among Us again. Who knows?
Oh, we can play Fall Guys.
I was thinking Fall Guys, but you can only do 4, right? Like in a team?
Really?
Can you do
I have no idea what that game is. I just looked at it. I was like, that doesn't look like something I will play.
Yeah.
Because it's like you just run and I don't know. It just sounds like a game for kids. But then again, I played Among Us. So
there you go. Yeah, he's totally down. Didn't you tell me that Among Us was a Russian game at first too?
So yeah, it's not the Russian game, but it's the concept of it. It's something that's like a known Russian game where it's played around the table, so it's just like doesn't require any computer or anything like that. And basically it's like you write on a piece of paper, who's innocent, who's a mafia guy, and then somebody, everybody picks a piece of paper to find out who they are, and then the mafia guys should work together and they vote on who they need to kill like during certain times. It's pretty dope. So
gotcha. It looks like a mafia guy just showed up to your house.
yeah, exactly.
All right, so do you need to go or
no.
Oh, that's not you. Okay.
No, that's the closing bell for the day here for the market.
Oh, Orlando's saying much mahalo, Dimitri and Brandon. You guys are moving this space forward. Damn, dude. I'm getting
my
no
friend,
love.
My friend. Yes. If you guys don't see Q on the next show, don't be surprised.
I'll bring Brandon in here. No, definitely shout out to Orlando. He's been killing it in the chat. We kind of bonded there. He's still living over on the island, but I definitely had my time there as well. So aloha to him as well.
Awesome.
So Mike Scott saying Among Us. There's a couple more comments that You guys have been leaving the whole time, man. 2-hour episode all the way to the end. I appreciate it. Expect some updates today about LADs and the token as well. So,
yeah.
you want to send us off?
Yeah. Until next time.